Just going to kind of give you the scene where we're at right now first to give you an idea of the scope, the scale, where this is. So right over to my right is Diaz Street. It's 2 streets down where that truck is, that SUV is passing. That is the street that the shooter lived on. Right here is the funeral home behind me here, and right down here is where this van is crossing, is where the truck actually ended up going into the ditch about 30 minutes after he shot his grandma in the face. This right now is the school. You can see behind us, it's still an active crime scene, so they've told us we can't go in. But just behind the police officers is the door that the shooter went into, or the demon went into, really, in my opinion. If we can look over here, a couple things to note, though. So this is, like you mentioned, the timeline. It's crazy. It makes no sense. The fact that he supposedly shot his grandma in the face around 11 a.m., and it took him 28 minutes to crash his truck into the ditch over here. The police, the only thing that makes sense there is if he was driving around town and ended up back here. But again, a lot of these questions we're still not getting answers from law enforcement on. At 11:33, though, that's when he went into the building, into those doors off to my right behind me. And at that point, again, at first we heard that there was a police resource officer that was involved at the beginning. Then we found out he wasn't. Then we found out he came and actually drove right past the gunman in the parking lot. That parking lot was full of cars at that point. The police officers, Uvalde PD, arrived at the funeral home right before the gunman went inside, but didn't engage with him. And then the gunman went inside. And at 12:15, again, almost 45 minutes, 42 minutes.
Hold
it.
Whoa. Hang on. Slow down. You the door gets propped at the very moment. Look, the timeline doesn't make sense. I don't know if it's 11 o'clock. I don't know if it's 11 o'clock he shot the. I don't know if it's 11 o'clock, but that's why it's so important to have Ben there. It's right down the street and off to the side where he lives. He shoots the grandmother sometime after 11 o'clock. We don't know when, but it ain't close to 11:30. It's closer to 11. Why he crashes in the ditch?
That's correct.
Why does it take 20 or 25 minutes to get down there? Why does the door just magically get propped open at the very moment? Look, remember, we're not conspiracy theories here. We don't believe in them. But there are no coincidences.
No.
How does a door get propped open at the very moment a guy's opening fire, essentially, on the funeral home, and it took a couple of shots at the school also? Has the school officer drive by after the guy's been up shooting and quote unquote thinks a teacher's the guy? I mean, nothing makes any sense. The other thing, Ben, is Bortac. I know you're going to talk to them. Bortac's down in Del Rio. Del Rio's I think 70 miles away. The earliest they could have heard about it is 11:33, 34, 35. You got to go through a chain. Those guys are employed down there. They're just not hanging out. How do you get, and maybe they came in with helicopters. We haven't been told that. But how do you get from Del Rio, Texas to Uvalde in 26 minutes? How does that happen? Right? So
that is a question. That's a question. But the other part of that, Steve, the biggest part to me is, why are you outside the door at 12:15? Bortac's there, and then the police chief of the schools, Pete Arredondo, has the police officers stand down for another 40 minutes before they breach that door as children are bleeding out. The most important part of this, Steve, I want to make is, as the left continues to push this, they're attacking the guns. This is ripe for them. They never let a crisis go to waste. That's what they're looking at. Joe Biden flies down here over the weekend.
That's what
they're doing. They're pushing gun control. This is about good versus evil. This is good versus evil. That's what we're up against. This man was a demon, and that's what needs to be called out.
But hang on, definitely demon. Here's what's interesting. For 5 days, we haven't gotten any word about this kid. How did he get those guns? How did he get the cash? How did he buy that kind of ammo? Everybody will tell you.
That's right.
One of the reasons we do ProTech here, iTech, is that they're using the laser because the ammo's too expensive. The ammo's too expensive. How does this kid get the cash to buy the ammo? How does he get it that quickly? How does he get the guns that quickly? Bernie Carrick, I got Bernie Carrick back in Buffalo. Remember, Bernie Carrick came on the show the afternoon of Buffalo. He has seen the tapes inside the Buffalo store. Bernie Carrick says on the show twice, that kid is well trained. And I said, could he get it off a video? No, impossible. He's a well-trained shooter. He was ready. The kid in Buffalo. Nothing's come out about that. No investigations. Why have we not heard any word about this kid in 5 or 6 days? How did he get the cash? What did he do? We've got Gina Loudon's coming on here. There are 48 lockdowns in the system. Where's the SWAT team? They have a 13-man SWAT team. Where 48 lockdowns. Where is it? So, Ben, you're going to be down there for a couple of days. You're going to dig in and burr in hard on this?
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get. I mean, that's the thing. We've got to get answers to this. The moral of the story is the left is going to continue to use this to try to take away your guns, confiscate guns. They're going to ignore the evil that's behind it. But you're right. These questions need to be answered. It was ripe for the picking. That this is the battle in our country. It's good versus evil, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
No doubt. Ben Berguam, real quickly, social media. How do people follow you nonstop on this? Because you're breaking stuff all the time.
Download the America's Voice app. You can get me on frontlineamerica.com and then at Ben Berguam on all social media, Getter, Truth Social, Cloud Hub, and the rest.
We'll have you back up at 5. Ben Berguam.